What is up, everybody? Skratch here. Guess what? This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today I want to focus on those epic champions that eclipse the legendary champions. Those epics that you would use regardless on how many legendary champions you have on your account, regardless if you own every single legendary in the entire game. Because those epic champions are so powerful that they put legendaries to shame, and they have these amazing unique abilities. And the reason for it, guys, is because I want to make sure that none of you guys have any second thoughts when you're thinking if should I 6-star this epic champion or no. That's gonna be my main focus in today's video, guys, and I want to show you my most used epic champions in the game, and this is the best way. I'm gonna explain you where am I using them, I'm gonna explain you how I'm using them, in what teams, and why I have no better replacement for them. Before we move over to talk about all that, if you enjoyed the music you hear in the video, guys, we have that Soundstripe link in the description down below. Head over and check them out. They have an amazing music library. I can guarantee you that you won't be getting disappointed. Plus, I can save you 15% on checkout by using code Skratch. Without further ado, let's jump straight into it. I'm actually gonna show you my builds. I'm gonna show you everything that you need to know about these epic champions. Now, some of them, maybe half of them, are actually void affinity. Unfortunately, there is no easy way when we're talking about champions. I do want to mention there are more than this, okay? I'm gonna show you only 10 because these 10 are literally irreplaceable on my account. They are the most used epic champions. I really thought about it. Do I have 15? Do I have 20 epic champions that I'm constantly using? No, I have 10, honestly. Maybe I could add 1 or 2 more that I'm using in faction wars or stuff like that. But the whole idea is that this cannot be replaced by any legendary champion in the game. And that's what I want to offer you guys today. And I'm going to start with no one else but Manatee. I am only using him in Clan Boss. Yes, I could change my Clan Boss team. I could make a different one because there are around 100 different Clan Boss teams out there. But do I really want to change a Clan Boss team that works on every single affinity, every single difficulty, one king everything without a problem? Why would I want to change that, right? So this Manatee is what makes that team possible. Basically, the A3 guy's immunity, unkillable. He deals pretty good damage with the A1 and the A2. Kind of like on average, I feel like they're doing around 8 to 10 million damage, each one of them in my Clan Boss team. And this A3 allows us to have immunity, guys, so we are not getting affected by decreased speed. We're not getting affected by stun or anything like that. That's what makes this champion so amazing. I feel like probably is the most wanted epic champion in the game. Everybody who starts the game, what do you want for your clan? Oh, I need a Manatee. I want to make the budget team. I want to do this. There's so many different variations of clan boss teams with Manatees, guys. Is absolutely ridiculous. So definitely this bad boy is one of those champions. Now, if we're gonna move over to a different champion, a non-void champion, very unique champion, one of a kind, Geomancer, right? So I actually have 3 Geomancers at 60 because they're rocking Hydra, they're rocking the clan boss, they're rocking the Doom Tower bosses. Generally, they're just absolutely amazing. What makes them so special? So you see, I have 3 different builds. At the moment, I have, I think, 2 on regen and 1 on a relentless. Sorry, let me just make sure. Yes, basically they all have the stats for Hydra clan boss in terms of speed, accuracy, while they can work on any other content in the game without a problem. They have decreased accuracy AoE on the A1, still buffs with this skill right here. So even if he has a weak hit with this, he's still gonna steal the buffs. This skill is absolutely a beast for the Hydra clan boss. But if we're gonna have a look at the A3, on a 3-turn cooldown, places a HP burn and a weaken for 3 turns and fully depletes the target's turn meter, plus it can fill his own turn meter by the amount the target loses. But the passive is what makes this champion a boss slayer. Decreases the damage all allies receive, and then it deflects the damage onto the enemy if they are under HP burn. This damage can literally melt, guys. That's why Geomancer is such a beast of a champion, and honestly, I'm pretty convinced that the majority of you guys know it. Back in the day, before the so-called nerf, he used to be good for clan boss, right? But that's it, only for clan boss. Once that nerf, which was actually a buff, happened, he became a beast everywhere in the game, guys. He's such a powerful champion. Moving over to one champion that is gonna skyrocket even more now that the Hydra will get a nerf. Husk. No other champion in the game to do what he does. Enemy max HP hitters, yeah, we do have Septimus, but it's a single target. This is AoE, he's an HP based champion, very tanky when we want to take him in for the Hydra clan boss. He can work on Dragon, he can work on Spider, he can work in Doom Tower, he can work in Faction Wars, depending on where exactly we are in the game. But if we're gonna have a quick look at the skills, AoE, enemy max HP, a chance to land a stun, attacks one enemy, but the A1 is what's gonna make him even more amazing from here on. Has a chance to land a provoke, so one of the Hydra heads, the cleanser, won't be immune to provoke anymore. So that means that I'm gonna have to rebuild my husks and give them accuracy from here on to make sure I'm gonna constantly provoke those heads. I have them both in Relentless. I just wanna do tons and tons of damage on those bosses, you know. I have 4 of them at 60. The next champion, for example, no equal in the game, and that's no one else but Seeker. I have 2 of them at 60. I have 2 different builds. This one is more for arena on a shield set, and we have a speed on him. These are kind of like decent masteries for him. And I have the one for clan boss. Slightly different masteries, but basically what makes him so powerful for clan boss is his A2. Fills the Termiter, grants an extra turn, plus he buffs attack, which is very, very important. Tons of Termiter, 30%, not many champions actually give you so much Termiter boost. The A1 double hit provoke, not a big deal for clan boss. Passive, not a big deal for clan boss. But when we're talking about arena and these sort of things, we have a defense aura for arena, 30%, and the passive heals this champion by 20% and places an increased defense on all allies for 2 turns when hit with a critical hit. And we have a provoke on the A1. True, we do have Kyoku in the game now, the legendary that has this sort of passive, but she still doesn't have this A2 that makes tons of clan boss teams possible. If we're gonna move over to the next epic champion, and it's no one else but Allure, guys. Probably you guys can see the pattern, you see where I'm going here. Allure, I have 2 different builds, one on immunity and speed for my Fire Knight dungeon, and I have one on perceptions and cruel, and this is being used on the Doom Tower on the Dark Fae. So if we're gonna have a quick look right here, what makes her so amazing? The A3 that gives us a bit of damage on a single target, or it might be the A2, AoE, smaller version of defense down. Hell no. What makes her so powerful is the A1, the only champion in the game that has this. We have legendary champions like Blind Seer, who doesn't have such a good skill because it's not 100%. Attacks 3 times at random, decreases the target's Termiter by 25 on each critical hit. Now, when I'm running Allure in one of my teams, the reason for it is because the boss will never get a turn. Allure, she's gonna make sure that's never going to happen. That's why she's so important for the Fire Knight, especially the higher stages, so important for the Dark Fae and other bosses, including Faction Wars. And unfortunately, or fortunately, because she's an epic, she is one of a kind in the game, guys. These are kind of like my masteries, Giant Slayer for the A1. What will be the next champion, Skratch? Is it maybe that Royal Guard that you have right there? Because I see you have 5 of them. Absolutely. Royal Guard, again, no other champion to compete with him. Why? AoE, enemy max HP hit, tons of damage with his takedown skill, multiple hit on the A3 with a chance to land decreased speed and decreased Termiter, and on the A1 we have defense down, attack aura for all dungeons. You can run him in dungeons, you can run him on Dark Fae, on secret rooms, you can run him in Faction Wars, you can run him in you can run him on the Hydra clan boss, and that's where I'm running most of them. Plus, I am running him on the Fire Knight 25. That's what allows me to have a 60-second steam for the Fire Knight stage 25, which I already made a guide on, guys. You will find it on my channel. So I have Relentless, not built just yet, Savage. This is for the Fire Knight. I can run this one on the Dark Fae as well. And these 2 are for Hydra on Relentless. Probably you guys are like, tons of Relentless, Skratch, why not Savage? because I want them to deal even more damage. The more turns they take, the better. Plus, it helps me to release the champions when they're getting devoured even faster. So that's why Royal Guard is so important. I wish we would get some legendary champions that can compete with Royal Guard, can compete with Husk, can compete with Coldheart, maybe with crazier skills, you know? He was one of my very first epic champions that I ever got in the game, guys. And honestly, he never, ever disappointed. Now, I want to talk about a different one that I'm running a lot, and that is Stag Knight. Now, Stag Knight could be replaced in a way or another by Duck the Pierce. They are pretty equal with that defense down and attack down AoE. But Stag Knight has one thing slightly better, and that is the A1, decreased speed with a double hit, which makes him viable for the Spider Dungeon, makes him viable for the Fire Knight, makes him viable for the Ice Golem, makes him viable for Dark Fae and other Doom Tower bosses, including Secret Rooms, and makes him viable even for the Hydra clan boss, because that will be pretty badass to decrease the speed. But Duck the Pierce could play an important role there as well, because he will be able to provoke. So that's why I'm kind of like, both of them are decent, but this is what I'm using. So I'm gonna give you the one that I'm using. Of course, defense down, decrease attack, AoE, and we have this passive that increases the accuracy. These are the masteries that I have on him. These are kind of like the stats, relentless for him as well. Pretty solid for the lower difficulties on Hydra. So just to give you guys an idea, this is my Stag Knight. That's kind of like what I'm doing with him. Let's move over to some Void ones, because yeah, I covered the non-Void mainly. What about Seer? Seer, probably she can deal the highest damage in the entire game with the Karma Burn, okay? Like, the numbers that she's throwing, mind-blowing. That's the only thing I gotta say. I have her built on Savage, and I am using her in Doom Tower, in Faction Wars. I'm using her on my Fire Knight team. I'm using her on the Dragon team. There is no champion to replace her. Most probably you guys are very familiar with how powerful Seer she is. These are kind of like my total stats. 325 crit damage. I have 200 speed, 100 crit rate. So pretty solid as a build. On the A1, she has a chance to gain an extra turn. I'm not really using the A2 often. Honestly, on most of my presets, the A2 is switched off, except the Fire Knight on the second wave, where I'm letting her use the skill. But the Karma Burn is what makes this champion so unique. And if we're gonna use Blood Shield accessories, shield sets, tons of buffs, we're melting waves everywhere in the game without a problem. I love Seer, honestly. Such a beast of a champion. Moving over to the next one, we have two more champions left, guys, okay? Umbral Enchantress. Skratch, why would you say that she is so amazing? She's just a normal Void epic champion. She doesn't do that much. Surely she doesn't do that much. Well, trust me, she does quite a lot, and no other champion can actually compete with what she does, because no one can do it as good as her. On the A1, just a simple hit. But the main thing is right here. Attacks all enemies, 100% chance to place block buffs, debuff for 3 turns on a 3-turn cooldown, okay? So that means that you're gonna constantly keep those block buffs on your enemies. Void affinity, no weak hits like Ugo or other champions. So that makes her very, very solid. Hydra clan boss, arena, secret rooms, faction wars, Doom Tower, wherever you're gonna need her. The A3, AoE provoke for 2 turns on all enemies. Not many champions can actually come in here and say that they're better than Umbral Enchantress as a CC, or just to mess up with the opponent. I have tier 6 War Master on her, mainly for Hydra. I have her built on regeneration to make sure she's gonna stay alive, since she provokes so many champions. She definitely needs to be on point. And yes, you guessed it right. Probably for the last one, we're gonna have to go with no one else but Madame Series. And the reason for it is because there's still no other champions as powerful as her. I have multiple ones. I'm only using 2 of them, these 2. One full accuracy. You see tons of accuracy on this one, almost 800. These are the masteries, tier 6 Eagle Eye. Same with the other one, but I have this one built on immunity and accuracy set. The main thing on her, guys, The A1 is pretty decent. It doesn't proc that often. The A2, decent enough. Again, I'm not really counting on it. The A3 Midnight Ritual removes all buffs from enemies, places a 50% decrease attack and a defense down on all enemies for 2 turns. Kymar strips buffs, Setalia strips buffs. We have Ryan the Conjurer strips buffs and gives weaken. But no other champion can do so many things in one skill, and she's so important for so many places in the game. I'm using her on daily basis. All of these champions are being used on daily basis on my account because there are no other champions that can replace them, that can fill in their shoes. That's why I wanted to point this out, guys. These are, in my opinion, the best 10 epics in the entire game when you reach the end game, because regardless if you own all the champions or no, you're still gonna use most probably these epics the most. Let me know in the comments down below if you think that I missed anyone that's extremely powerful and being used constantly. I know there are so many other epic champions in the game that are amazing, but how I mentioned, I kind of wanted to give you the take from my point of view, from the perspective where I own pretty much every champion in the game, and these are my most used epic champions because they have these insane abilities. That was all for this video. Appreciate all of you guys watching. Much love, and I'll catch you all soon in the next video. Peace.